serious eyes. You know, it's kind of aggressive, but in a really fun and approachable way. And it's not his whole body, it's not his whole face. It's kind of focused on the eyes, but it's this little ninja guy. And I don't know. I kept, you know,
awesome.
I know sometimes when I'm you know, just explaining what I do, I'm like, yeah, I'm like a graphic design ninja. And I don't know, I just kind of, I tried to like come up with different character ideas, but I didn't want anything too specific because I didn't want to be like a game logo. So to me, he kind of captured more of the essence of just the idea of this kind of edgy, creative, fun.
I would want to use him as a character in a bunch of the games.
And maybe you do, you know, maybe that's what happens. He's kind of becomes an element throughout the games. But, you know, he kind of becomes like the Ronald McDonald of McDonald's. Like, it's kind of this little ninja guy. Maybe he has a name over time, and, you know, he kind of evolves to kind of create his own personality. It's like, it's a pretty, you know, it's a pretty classic marketing tactic, you know, Frosted Flakes with Tony the Tiger, and it's been done for sure, but to kind of create this little character to kind of represent your brand, especially if we're talking about young, you know, kids and teens and stuff, they relate to it, and it's something to attach to on an automotive level. So the font itself, kind of, as we said, you know, this fun, kind of quirky, exciting look, and then the games is a little more solid and rigid, kind of give it a bit of a professional base. But the font itself, very kind of fun. It's a modified version of an existing font called CC Zoinks, which is just kind of a comic book font. But I've modified it a bit, add these little like scallops and cuts into it. I kind of thought there was a little tie-in with the cuts and stuff to the little samurai blade kind of thing he's got sticking out, the ninja blade he's got sticking out the back.
It's got the little, like, I've been hit in the face.
Yeah, the little slice through there, right? So again, you know, that edge there a little bit, but not scary, not intimidating. I think it's just kind of fun. And the colors as well, kind of that contrast of serious and fun. The lime green is just kind of vibrant and exciting, but the dark blue kind of creates a stability to it. It's professional and reliable looking. I just do it in little mock-ups here. You can see how it kind of work in reverse too, so it does work if you need to really simplify it down to kind of a one color.
When really small, it looks good too.
Yeah, you can see that might be, you know, printed on some stationery of some sort.
Sweet.
I kind of put it on a phone so you can just start to visualize, you know, like a little loading screen or something.
Yeah.
To be honest, that was as helpful for me as it probably is to presenting them, just to kind of see it in that realm. And you know, when you start your studio up and everyone's walking around in t-shirts, you gotta have the logo t-shirts done.
All ninjas.
Yeah, they're all game dev ninjas. Typography that I'm suggesting here is this is actually a Google font that you can use called Titanium. It's nice, legible, but it's got kind of a bit of that futuristic kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of gamer to me.
It's free to use that kind
It's
of
free
thing?
to use that font, yeah.
Cool.
And then this one as well is that comic book font, which is what the logo kind of evolved out of, called CC Zoinks. I wouldn't use that everywhere by all means, but it's kind of a fun one that you can throw in if you wanted, you know, a little bit of action in a certain instance. You can kind of use it throughout the kind of the branding, and if you use it consistently, again, it's just reinforcing that brand image over and over again.
Cool.
Here's kind of a color palette that I drew for all the logos. I drew most of the inspiration out of these general colors, putting different emphasis on which ones I used in the logo. But I almost kind of started with this. I actually had looked at a lot of game companies. I had a stack of all the Wii games that my kid has on my desk. I thought Wii was a good one because that seems to be kind of that fun, approachable, kind of all ages sort of. It's just, you know. And so I went and I looked at all the little game logos on the back, and then as well pulling from what we talked about before with our personality profiling, just having that kind of you're definitely expressive. I mean, we want fun, vibrant colors, but also approachable too. You can go fun and vibrant, but it's very extreme. These have a lot of friendliness to them.
Yeah, they're kind of soft.
They're exciting, but they're friendly, and I think that kind of fits the personality of the brand. So that's where the color palette comes from, and you'll see how I use them throughout. Added a little silver in there. That's actually would be like a metallic silver that you could use.
Cool.
And again, that would be kind of subtle, but you could use it in different instances. You know, maybe it's part of an instruction manual or something. If you ever develop like a console game or something, I don't even think they come with manuals anymore.
No.
It's all online. Anyhow,
it's all digital.
Yeah, it's all digital. Yeah. Tells you the last time I actually bought a console game. I usually just download them all.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's logo one. Cool. That's probably the most whimsy.
Reminds me of like the little mochi ads or like Reddit or something. They all have the little guy.
There you go. Okay. This one is, actually I'm going to go through a different order here, just because I'm going to go from most whimsy to some whimsy to more kind of the corporate look, like I said. Okay. This is the other one.
I like that.
The inspiration for this, I don't know, as soon as I had the two B's together, I could see doing eyes in it somehow. And I kept kind of going back to those little drawings you showed me of the fish. And
his eyes.
They had the little eyes. And I don't know, there was real emotion in those eyes. And to be able to do something like this where it looks it looks kind of shifty and mischievous. And I kind of like that. That seemed to fit the brand. And again, in a kind of a fun way. The colors, I went with black on this one because I was trying to be a little more less kid-like, even though it's still fun and whimsy. It was a little more kind of a little more grown up. And the blacks and work. My son really liked this one.
I could see him like looking around. Like,
yeah, you could see on the loading screen. Yeah, totally right. Totally shifty and mischievous. And I don't know. I just really liked it. Especially in the black font with the yellow eyes. I had one with white eyes, and everyone saw. I was like, no, definitely the yellow. Like it just looks more mischievous that way. So. You can do it in a reverse. That was part of my challenge with having it. So I just wanted to show you that it does work in reverse in like a simplified version. Although I think the majority of the time you'd want to try and use it in positive because I do think it loses a little something when you go that way. Just showing it again on some different backgrounds.
Oh, that's big.
That again showing you how it works simplified. So that would be kind of like a spot UV varnish on an uncoated stock on black. So again, it's a little more mature version of the friendliness, but it's cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Right? You can see it kind of on a loading screen there. Again on the t-shirts.
Sweet.
Typography. So this is actually just Helvetica new. I wanted the Helvetica is one of those fonts that some people hate it because it gets used a lot. A lot of designers really like it. The reason why it's so popular is it's personality-less. Normally you pick fonts because they have a personality and you use it. The great thing with Helvetica is it doesn't really have a personality. You can pair it with stuff that looks old-fashioned, it looks classic. You can pair it with stuff that looks really modern and new, and it looks modern and new. With something like this, I wanted to kind of keep the font kind of neutral so that the eyes really did the talking. And so by using a font like Helvetica, it's just clean. There's nothing, you can't go wrong with it. It's safe. It just works everywhere. In the logo, we used Helvetica as the base font, but then everything's shifted up and down off the baseline to give it kind of that fun and movement and whimsy again. Not to keep beating that name to death, but it's a strong font to use, and I think you would just kind of use it through other materials. And this one, I've stripped out a lot of the other color palette. I think this one would work better with less colors. So your light yellow and then a darker orange and the sky blues and the reds. And you could certainly incorporate other ones, but I think for your kind of primary branding elements, you'd want to stick to a smaller color palette. It just seems to clash less with the colors we're using in there. Okay.
Cool. I really like the eyes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Would you show me that fish? It's just on the screen now. I'm like, oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. And then this is the last one. This, like I said, this is probably more typical what you'd expect of like a game studio kind of logo. And so this is probably, more closer to my typical style of doing stuff, creating these kind of clean icons. I started doing the shape on the outside first, which was creating the H and the G for the Hibby games. The H and then the G on the other side. And then I started adding elements to kind of show the game side of things, which to me is kind of pixel perfection. So zooming right in on literally pixel by pixel building these games out. So it was kind of, I wanted this idea of, you see it's kind of open and stuff's coming out. It reminded me of like the old lava from like Mario Brothers when it used to bubble out of the little thing. And I don't know, it was kind of like all these ideas bubbling out, like all the creative processes happening inside as the lava kind of bubbles out. And
cool.
And so that's where that one came from. And you can see a simplified version of it as well. I mean, you don't necessarily have to use it with the stuff on the inside. The real heart of the logo is the shape around the outside itself, with the little pixels and cutouts and stuff.
Cool.
I just noticed I forgot to update that on I will do that before I send you the final version.
The ninja.
Yeah, the ninja keeps making an appearance throughout all
pops
these.
up.
Yeah, it's subliminal. It's subliminal. Again, just the same sort of mock-ups. Try and show a lot of the same mock-ups so that you're comparing apples to apples when you see it. This font is Gotham. It's not terribly unlike Helvetica, but it does have a little bit different feel to it. It's a little wider and rounder, a little more kind of spaced out, and it's got a little bit of a softer tone to it, just because it is more round. It's a little kind of bubblier, I guess you could say. Still very professional, but it just seemed to work really well with that big fat logo. I needed something kind of big and wide and squat to kind of balance that out. So back to the color palette again. And then what I'll do is, because I always have clients ask me this and I always forget to do it, so congratulations to the first person I remember to do this for. Put all of them up on the screen at the same time so you can see them.
So you can compare.
So I just put them in the iPad for you, but...
awesome. Now I have to choose.
What's that? Now you have to choose, yeah.